Good afternoon. This video is the first video in a series of videos for total beginners, people that don't really know much about trading. They've only heard about it. They basically only know that things go up and down, make money, and that there's things called stock, foreign exchange, and they've heard of Bitcoin. So this is the most basic video that's going to help new people get an entry into learning how to read charts. So this is a TradingView.com chart. It's at www.tradingview.com/chart. Now this is basically the very beginning of Bitcoin as it was released on the earliest still existing exchange called Bitstamp. It's at bitstamp.net. Bitstamp is one word. .net. So we're looking all the way back to this is called a candle. This is a candle. That's a candle. These are all individual candles. Now the part that sticks up that looks like a candle wick is called the wick. These spikes downward are also called a wick. This is a red wick. This is a green wick. Now we'll talk about that more in a minute. I don't want to get too confusing for new people, newcomers to the trading space and Bitcoin crypto space. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about price action, then we're going to move into candles. So this is a basic chart. See how it dropped down? That is because when it started to go up, the price of Bitcoin, it dwarfed the other price action in comparison when it went up above, like $50. So this is the beginning of Bitcoin. The area where I first was involved in Bitcoin is about right here, about the last week of November 2011. It shows a big price spike from about a low of maybe $2.50 all the way up to $15. This is how you judge the price. Now this happened in the course of 3 days. This is a 3-day chart. That means each one of these candles equals 3 days. Now as you can see, the date down here at the bottom shows when I point to a candle it says 28th of October 11, meaning 2011. As I move over, it shows 3 days later, because each one of these is the price activity that happened in that 3-day period. So at the beginning, the opening of this candle right here on October 28th, 2011, the price started at about $3. Before that 3-day period was over, it went up to about $4.40. So this is just a price fluctuation in here where you see the candle body and the candle wick. And then it kind of went down a little bit over the next week, week and a half. The earliest price that I really remember was about $2.50 per Bitcoin, which if you're familiar with what Bitcoin is worth today, it's pretty crazy. $2.50 versus almost $20,000 per Bitcoin? Yes, that is correct. Bitcoin has gone in the history of its release on Bitstamp from about $11 or so on the first opening day, being released on Bitstamp. Again, a very early exchange where you could actually exchange cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. Litecoin came a bit later. So it went from $11 down to about $2, spiked up. This happened probably within 1 day. And then it went up to $7, dropped back down to about $5, stayed there for a few months, and then it started going up about the beginning of summer of 2012. It went all the way up to $16, dropped back down, and as you can see, the price stayed in the $10 to $20 range for quite a while till we get into about the first or second week of January 2013. Then it went all the way up by April 2013 to $260, which was an incredible price increase in just 6 months. We're talking, close to 2,000%. So, I mean, it's really a big deal. Sorry, we're talking like about $12, $260. So yeah, we're actually talking 2,000% increase in that time period. Okay, so let's go back to our chart. Start looking at what Bitcoin did after the first big price increase. It went back down to about $73, and it went sideways, $100. I remember it staying at $100 for quite a while, 120, 130. But then something happened in about October of 2013, and within about 3 weeks it went all the way from about $100 up to $1,200, just shy of $1,200. And we've had some various price spikes down, back up, and it's steadily gained over the course of the last 7 years from about $100 all the way up to the last big peak, which was actually about the second week of December 2017. Bitcoin went crazy and went almost to $20,000. This shows that it went to about 19,680 approximately on Bitstamp. So since that time, Bitcoin has dropped down. We had a major, it went down into the 3,500 range here through a lot of late 2018, early 2019. Went up again to 14,000. And then when COVID hit, we had a spike downward to about $3,800. And this happened in just a few days here. The price had been up around 10,000. This was a great place to buy. The people that bought here or took out trades here, many of them are extremely wealthy now, because if you had the money to do this, you could have bought 3 Bitcoin for about $11,000. And, this was basically in second week of March of this year. If you would have held it until now, each Bitcoin is worth just under $19,300 today. So we're going to change back to one-day candles, and we're going to look at the biggest exchange, which is Binance. Then we're going to talk about candles and how they work in a little bit more detail. That's all I'm going to cover in this video, just because too much information too fast is kind of like, a little bit overwhelming. So this is Bitcoin versus US dollar on the daily chart. That means each one of these candles equals 1 day. This is the price movement during 1 day. Now, if you want to really talk about what these candles mean, this candle here is a green candle. The price opened at the beginning of the day, which was November 5th at 0000 hours, Greenwich time, or what they call Universal time, which is London time. It opened at about 14,145 on November 5th, and it closed the top of this candle body at 15,585 approximately. And this candle wick is the price variance, where it kind of slid up and then slid back. But by the time the day was over, this is where it closed. Now on a red candle, it's a little bit different. It's the opposite. A red candle is a downward trend during that time period, this being 1 day. Now this candle opened at the top of the body and closed at the bottom of the body. So at midnight on November 7th, This is where the price was, and when it got to be 11:59 p.m. at the end of that day, this is where the price was, and then it went over to this candle and opened right here. So red candles, the open is the top of the candle body, the close is the bottom of the candle body. On a green candle, the open is the bottom, the close is the top, and the wick is just, the variance where it slid back and forth. So that pretty much covers understanding Bitcoin, price, where it's been for the last 9 years, and what the candles mean. In the next video, we're going to talk about Binance, BINANCE.com, and how to take out a trade once you have some Bitcoin. We'll also talk about how to get Bitcoin, how to physically buy it. You can buy as little as $50 worth of Bitcoin, or even $20 worth of Bitcoin if you want to get started practicing trading it, or get into a different type of coin where you're actually gaining Bitcoin when that other coin increases in price. That's the whole idea behind trading other coins, is to make more Bitcoin in your account. Because once Bitcoin cracks this $20,000 level, it's going to go crazy. See, it goes, 30,000, 40,000. Some people say it could hit 100,000 by the end of 2021 without any problem. It may get there sooner. So that is the end of this video, and I hope you learned a lot.